Good morning, it's the 9th of August. I'm going to do an update today on my tomatoes that I planted in spring. First of all, Gardener's Delight. These are an amazing tomato. They can grow outside, they can grow in a greenhouse, and they always really grow wonderful fruits. So here's the plant, or one of the plants. Going right up to the roof of the greenhouse. It's started to get some ripe fruit. I've eaten some and they are really nice. There's another one over there in the other corner, looking really nice. This was the other type of tomato. It's actually a free gift from one of the suppliers that I use, DH Brown. And as you can see, it says I sowed 3 on the 3rd of April 25. That's what it says at the bottom. That's what I always keep a note of when I sow seeds. These are more like a cherry tomato. They're very small. But I grew these last year. See, they're not actually as ripe as the others, not on this plant, but well, this one, yeah. They're going lovely and ripe. These have got a gorgeous flavour. So they're called crocchini, and they're an F1 variety. They're an award-winning cherry tomato. And they really are lovely. They're worth growing as well because I've never had a problem so far with them. Just lovely. As I mentioned on my other video, I've just kept taking the side shoots off, so they're just growing up with one stem every plant. And there's a little side shoot starting there, so just between where the fruit is growing on that stem and the main stem, so you just take it off like that. That's what I've been doing all the way through the growing season. And then they don't spread out everywhere, they're growing upright, so they're taking up less room. It's healthier for the plants because when they're really bushy, there's another one there. They can get diseases because they're not getting enough air flowing through them. But this method is always successful for me, and it's just easier to see what's going on when you've got one stem, and you can manage the plant better. Okay, this is what I've been feeding these plants on. Organic seaweed, liquid plant food, which you mix with water, and you just feed them. It says on the label between, well, sort of every week to 2 weeks, but I've been doing it every 7 days, and they seem to be thriving. My plants are planted in the ground as well, so it might be a little bit different in a grow bag. Because they sort of keep the water in more in bags, and the food doesn't drain off into the soil, so just bear that in mind. Here's the sweet peppers that I planted. These are from DT Brown again, bullhorn mix. When the fruits actually come on, because they're not very big at the moment, they've took quite a while, these, to produce the flowers and fruit, but there's one starting. But they're going to be, it says, long shiny red and yellow pointed fruits up to 10 inches in length, and have few seeds inside, perfect for cooking, as they have an extremely sweet flavour. So I can't wait for those, because I eat a lot of peppers in my meals. I like Mediterranean style food, so I can't wait for those to come ripe to be picked. I've brought my hibiscus plants in during some stormy weather as well. So there's one, and there's one at the back there, both in their pots, and a smaller one here that I pruned right down. It was very tall and not bushy. It's growing a little bit. What I did though, I left it in a pot too long, and it had all its roots grew really long, and I've just realised and repotted it. It's got lovely yellow flowers, this one. I'm sure it'll be fine, still growing fine. This hibiscus I'm really pleased about. I think it's the pink one. These were cuttings I took in Madeira, and they're a few years old now. I think they're 5 years old actually. So there's a bud. Another one. So I'm going to enjoy some lovely flowers off these. I've got a resident tiny spider in the middle, which is helping control any bugs that are getting on them. These are tropical. They have to be brought in the house in the winter because it's, even in the greenhouse, it's too cold in the UK. I've been feeding these with the same feed, and just trying to help them by giving them as much sunshine as possible so they'll flower. And I've pruned them, which helps in the flowering as well. This one's lovely, it's really bushy. The other plant I wanted to show you was this. Some seeds that I bought from Madeira, and I bought them off a little market stall in the middle of the countryside because I like supporting small, sellers really, rather than going to shops. And anyway, they're fresh seeds, and this plant has grown from one of the seeds. I just threw a few seeds in a pot and just one germinated, and there it is. It's got lovely leaves and it's growing really tall. It's a climber, of course. Usually grows up trees in the wilds of Madeira, and it's a special passion flower plant, quite unusual. It has beautiful pink flowers, if you can kind of see on this little photograph. They're stunning when you see them in real life. The big bright pink flowers with yellow bits hanging on them, which I can't remember the name of. The fruits are like shaped like tiny bananas, and they actually are yellow, but obviously they're full of seeds like passion fruits. I've not really tasted one, but I'm growing them for the flowers really. I just saw them and I just thought, oh god, they're so beautiful, and then I came across the seeds, and I love seed sowing, so I thought, oh, I'll have a go at that. It's obviously going to have to be very much protected, the same as the hibiscus. In the winter, I have to be in the house. I'm just wondering how much it's going to grow. That's why I've bought it its own little trellis. Anyway, that's it for now really. I'll do another update when these start to grow, these peppers. They're taking off a bit now. There's quite a few on the plants, so just waiting for them to grow properly, the fruits. Okay, thanks for watching. See my previous videos on how I planted the peppers and tomatoes, and a few updates in between. If you're interested in growing fruit and veg, I'm going to carry on making videos, and I hope you enjoy watching them. If there's any questions, just put some questions in the comments section and I'll answer. Okay, thank you very much for watching.